From the Tapped Out Wrestling Network studios, we bring you the original Tapped Out Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Nick McDaniel and Myron Fancher. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are once again for the Sunday 7. Our goal is, believe it or not, to get this recording finished while it is still Sunday. With everything going on today, man, I was at work. You were not. With the Falcons winning and going to the Super Bowl, I know a lot of people were tied up, and it was a crazy.
My kid's final basketball game of the season. This is Myron, by the way, guys.
I was
it was a busy day. Busy day all across the board.
Yeah, I mean, the Sunday 7 was an awesome idea. I mean, until the fact that I'm not off every Sunday anymore.
It depends on what time zone you're hearing this. We're in the Eastern time zone, so our friends out west will still get it on Sunday.
Yeah, we will be tight pressed to get this show dropped by Sunday on the East Coast by long shot. I wouldn't hold my breath, but at least my goal was to have it recorded, so I'm not lying and saying it was still Sunday, right? But man, like I said, with the busy day I had, I was at work and everything else going on. I throw it to if we're going to make a change of pace here. Basically, Myron was the creative mind.
Yeah, I did. I was at creative here. Me and the ghost of Eric Bischoff. Someone did a few little shows getting ready here. Hey, when he wasn't retweeting our tweets, he was helping me write the show. Okay. It's an odd week. We're about to have our go-home shows for the Royal Rumble, which I'm super excited about. I don't know about you.
Oh,
you ready for it, Nick?
Oh, very, very excited. Believe it or not, it's probably one of the most excited, probably the most excited I've been for a while in a Rumble, because we've had the logic of we really don't know who's going to win.
Well, yeah, we've got 18 guys in right now who are 18 of the top names on the roster. Okay? Goldberg, Lesnar, The New Day. We got Strowman, Jericho, Corbin, Rollins, Taker, Ambrose, Miz, Ziggler, Cesaro, Sheamus, Wyatt, Orton, and Harper. Most of these guys have had a main event match on a Raw or a Smackdown this year alone. So that's, if you look at it, I was like, okay, let's look at the rest of the schedule. There's a lot more than 12 guys to fill out the rest of it that deserve to be on there, man. You got Anderson and Gallows, Enzo and Cass, possibly Finn Balor, Ellsworth trying to get in. I love this. He's trying to campaign his way into the Rumble.
Here's the funny part, because in most times you would sit there and go like, does he belong in there? Well, every year there's there's lots of guys that you check. It's the comedy bit in the middle.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I can see Ellsworth getting in there. I wouldn't have an issue with it whatsoever.
Hey, what about, we've got, Sami Zayn and Rusev that aren't doing anything on the program. There's some big names. This could be the most stacked Rumble ever.
We talked about that. Was it back on Wednesday? We were talking about. We're like, dude, this is really, really, because typically you're going to have your main event guys that are going to fill it all up, and are they going to? They're going to be individual matches on the card. Yeah, and you kind of get what's left, and that's kind of the whole point of why we always are like, well, we kind of know who's going to win. Because it's it's pretty obvious, but this year, like nothing. And then you don't even know, is Triple H going to do this? Is Triple H going
to come in? I doubt somebody who's it's their first Rumble or somebody is going to win like that, because they'll be vaulted into the main event program. Like AJ Styles last year. He came out, premiered, did not win, but nobody really wins their first time unless they want them to, unless it's something special. There'll be some surprises, but I think in the end, it'll be the guy that they have picked to do the main event program. So we'll see. I know I went out of line on this. I thought we were going to do another topic first, but I just got excited and pushed into this.
No. Hey, look, man, whatever order works for me. I'm all good with that.
But I'm really psyched about this Rumble. There's a lot of people. I don't know how big a crowd's going to be there in San Antonio, but that's a huge place. It's a really, really big place for a show.
Aren't they shooting for like 60,000 or something crazy like that?
I wouldn't doubt they pulled 60,000 on this show, because they've booked a strong card. Now the women are getting pretty much left off, which I think stinks. I think if they're going to have the Raw women, they should have the SmackDown women at least. unless they've got something in surprise for us. So we'll see. There might be something they're going to do, different. So we'll see how that works out. But besides that, that's the only thing really going on right now, except for some little off the card type stuff.
I got one for you. Or if you want to talk about the Rumble for a second, I got another one for you to ask.
What's that?
I was listening to another show, and I'm not even going to lie and say that because I honestly can't remember. I'd listened to so many this week. They mentioned, what about Baron Corbin? Was the tease in them? I mean, a lot of it has to do with who wins at the top. Like if it's a Raw guy, or if it's a Smackdown guy, or who.
Yeah, if they decided that. I mean, when you win, which program do you get to go to the main event on?
Right, because one of our logics is if Taker wins and he challenges AJ at Mania, well, that's going to free somebody up on Raw. I mean, it's clearly not going to be, so I think there's a lot of moving pieces here. But with the tease with, if let's say, for example, Cena wins, he beats AJ Styles, and it's a Raw guy that wins let's say it's off the, again, so many moving parts. What about Baron Corbin winning? So, I mean, do we get Baron Corbin and John Cena? Because everything we're hearing is Vince is completely cooled on the idea of Undertaker and John Cena for some reason.
Which I think is the biggest mistake they could possibly make.
I totally agree.
Unless he is intent on giving his son-in-law the honor of breaking Ric Flair's record. That might be that.
I think, honestly, at the core of it, I think because I did also read an article that Triple H pretty much is ready to retire from in-ring competition.
But he's working a program with, you think it's his last program he's working?
I think so. I mean, because from what it says is, I think this one he's kind of forced into because they've got to tie up some loose ends. But let Seth think about it. Going to Mania, one of the biggest complaints is the part-timers never lose to the full-timers. Seth Rollins finally gets to Triple H in some form or fashion. We're not booking stuff today. But then at Mania, Seth goes over on Triple H. Kind of gives him the push that he needs, the rub that he needs, and that's kind of how he takes off. And Triple H gets to just kind of ride off into the sunset.
Hey, if anybody deserves to retire, it's him because he is still drawing 2 contracts though.
Well, if he retires, that may be the way they get him out of it. They can say you're officially retired, so that contract's over. And
okay,
so maybe, but that's so. But, between Triple H coming in, and winning, because we've got so many moving parts of, are they going to have somebody win that gets to challenge Roman? If Roman beats Kevin Owens, does the winner become somebody who, somebody made the argument of what if it's, and we never even saw it coming. What if it's a Brock or a Goldberg wins? Because, I booked that idea that maybe we don't get Brock and Goldberg at Mania. Maybe we get them at SummerSlam.
Yeah, if they're in an event at the WrestleMania, if they're in a main event thing, they could do something where we get Goldberg versus Roman, and then you get a run out by Brock.
Exactly.
To ruin the finish.
We were thinking the exact same thing. Because
that's insane.
It also gets to keep Roman, and Goldberg from having to go to a long match.
Yeah.
Because they get to fight, they get to going really good, and then there's a Brock come down, and then you get the beat down, and, whatever. And then, so something that, and then do we end up with
I just don't think, you were saying, I don't think that Roman can tote him for a long time, so it would have to be interfered with.
Well, that's my point exactly. But then, but my argument is then, does that really accomplish anything for either party involved?
No.
Here's the or. One of the rumors that I heard on one of these podcasts that were saying hey, how great would this be? What if Undertaker wins and he doesn't want AJ Styles? He wants Roman Reigns.
Well, he could make the choice, yeah. Yeah.
And that's the moment where the fans get what they've been wanting for years, 2 years now at this point. Roman makes his heel
turn. And speaking of Roman Reigns, he's won a lot this year. PWI 500, he wins that.
Yep.
And on top of that, he just recently became the first babyface to win the PWI Most Hated Wrestler of the Year.
That's insane.
Seriously. He's been booked babyface all year long, and he wins most hated. And that's a title that goes to people like Ric Flair when he was the worst,
or Roddy Piper,
people who were. How did the Miz not get it? Okay, how did the Miz not get it this year?
Well,
the man has spent the entire year working a phenomenal heel program, and all of a sudden,
because it's a fan voted award. And and I mean, we're gonna be honest, and we're not disparaging in saying this. Most of your smart marks are the ones that are still even looking at a PWI poll, and they're going to be the ones who don't like Roman Reigns, and then they're going to vote.
Yeah.
So
where do we get to vote on this stuff? That's one thing I got to figure out, because I really would like to get. And now that we're wrestling journalists, we should be able to vote for the 500 too. Where do we get on this?
We want our votes.
Yeah, we want our votes. Want our votes heard.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say every vote counts. Boom.
Yes.
But no, we'll skip after that. So, but yeah, man, that's just insane. That after this, I mean, it's the PWI awards are some of the most coveted awards in the business. I mean, you got Stone Cold speaks, fondly of his winning Rookie of the Year. I mean, wrestlers of the year like Ric Flair, etc. And they book a guy as a babyface. And
I think probably giving him the top 500 is what pissed off so many people that read PWI.
Could be.
They could have worked this whole story.
I mean, the funny part is of all of that is this again, because this is fan voted poll, and it's a pretty big deal. Could this be the thing that finally slaps, Vince McMahon in the face and says, "Hey, look, pay attention to us"?
Well, they're able to. They may be doing what they want to with Roman, and they might. But like I said, I've said this before. Sorry for the cough, folks.
You made the joke. You made the point Wednesday. Yeah. What if Vince is working us the whole time? It's a work.
Yeah, and they're making us hate him worse by forcing him down our throats and getting us. He's the best. He's the best. We're going to give him a program every time. And we just hate him and hate him and hate him. So when he goes heel, the turn is just going to be amazing. And he'll be super popular as a heel.
Well, yeah, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about that. How do you make him more popular? Turn him heel. But, because we actually, to talk about turning him heel, there was a small little tidbit on Raw that we didn't cover. I totally missed it. I saw it again. I was watching it. Yes, folks, believe it or not, from time to time, I rewatch Raw, easy for me to say, because I'm generally live tweeting during Raw, so I sometimes feel like I don't catch every single detail.
You miss nuances, yeah.
I miss nuances, and something happened during his that's the very beginning of Raw. He kind of makes the comment, I don't know if you heard it, he was just like, "No one can beat me one-on-one right now." It came off a little bit heel. I mean, he came off, and so that's my part, was it's the beginning of the little things of the tweaks of, is he going heel, and they're starting to do it subtle. Well, we'll see. But just little things like that, I was kind of like, that was a little.
They have been just working us the whole time, man. Vince McMahon's the greatest. Say what you want to about him, but they've just gotten over on us.
It would be funny. I will not lie. It will be funny.
Yep. We'll see. It's going to keep going. This won't stop anytime soon. We may see some big reveal at the Rumble to set us up for WrestleMania. You've got the drama between him and Seth. Seth could be that could be a huge program. Will he turn on Seth? Will the two of them go heel? It's got a lot going on with that whole thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen.
If he turns heel, the last thing that I hope they do is I hope he doesn't become like the corporate stooge, kind of like like Seth was, and where he's basically the puppet of the authority figures or whatever.
Yeah.
I hope they don't go there. I just hope he just goes full out, screw the fans, screw the authority, everybody. I'm the badass and I'm going to beat everybody. I'm going to beat everybody.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what I hope they go
to. See what happen. Yes. I would love to see that happen. Because there's going to be, with them pushing Goldberg right now, and that's our next point to cover, is Goldberg talking about being at Fastlane.
Well, they're advertising.
Who's Goldberg going to take on at Fastlane? Yeah, who's he going to take on at Fastlane?
I guess the theory is he's going to have a tune-up match with somebody, so that way if he does face if he faces Brock at WrestleMania, that's not his first full, like, longer match, and at least he gets kind of to get in there, and it'll be on a Fastlane where as many people won't see it, as they do Mania, so maybe that's their
Fastlane is their network-only pay-per-view, right? It's not one of the ones that anybody can get. You have to be.
Oh, no. It's a full, like, it's the Raw pay-per-view, because you come out of Rumble, you have a couple weeks later, you have Elimination Chamber, then you'll have Fastlane, and then you'll have Mania.
So if they already have basically what's the main event for the Raw pay-per-view after the Rumble, kind of looks like somebody from SmackDown's going to win it then.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, because that's the beauty of the Rumble right now. Like I said, we're just talking about it. We have no clue who's going to win.
I remember last year where Roman went and took a break and then came back out later.
Roman sleeping.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. It's the most uncoordinated, unpredictable match in all of wrestling.
And every year I say it's probably. And it might actually be better on Mania, but it's usually like my favorite pay-per-view of the year or my second, depending on how good Mania is.
So if Goldberg wins the Rumble, then he's got the main event at Fastlane as a tune-up match for a national title championship at Mania. That's a lot going on, man. That's a lot.
I'm still not convinced. I'm thinking maybe. My biggest fear is somehow is something going to happen where Braun eliminates him and Braun and Goldberg fight or something silly like that. Because at this point, you tease me all you want. I want Braun Strowman to just keep destroying people.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm very good with that.
I mean,
they've saved him very well.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping they're not saving him to feed him to somebody at WrestleMania or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but
you never know.
Yeah. I mean, in the end of the day, if you want my money on it, I hope he's the one who ends up destroying Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Because at least when Brock leaves, Braun's young for it to be where he's at. He's relatively young. He's got a long potential career because, if nothing else, he does what they ask him to do and he does it fairly well. It's like just go out there and be the monster and destroy. Okay. And so if you build him up and give him a mystique of that, and then keep him off freaking TV every week. Make him the attraction.
I was watching that, they did something similar with Nia Jax, and she was the monster. And then she disappeared, and I kind of figured out why she wasn't on the show for a while. She was in Japan. She faced Asuka in Japan for the NXT Women's title, and it was a phenomenal match. She has improved so much since the last time she took her on in NXT. She did great. She lost, because Asuka's still the championship. But that's where she was. They moved that push a little bit over there and used her as an NXT push. And, used that to rub that program for Asuka in her home country. So I think that was a great promotional deal. But she's been the monster, and the people that watch Raw didn't see her lose to Asuka. It was an NXT thing. So it did not hurt her overall Raw push. So maybe we'll see something like that with Strowman. If he loses, he'll lose someplace most people don't see it, so they continue to get to use him as a monster.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm hoping is that's...
Yeah. And the number 3 that's another topic. I can't remember what number we're on. Who stole AJ Styles' bag of money and Xboxes? Backstage at a house show. I believe it was in Arkansas.
Jonesboro, right? Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Somebody stole a bag from AJ Styles that had his Xbox, his games, $1,000 in dollars and $1,000 in Japanese money, or $7,000.
$7,000 in Japanese yen. Don't forget the small TV, because clearly that's what he was using to play his Xbox 360 on, and his Beats headset, because
Yes, we had to have a Beats headset.
Yeah.
We don't have a headset promotional deal or an endorsement deal with a headset company yet, so we can't mention the ones we personally use.
I mean, but hey, if Beats wants to, become a sponsor and send out headsets, hey, we're all in. We'll push your product Because again, we're not whores, but we can be bought. So
yes. Here's the thing: what in the hell are you going to do with $7,000 worth of Japanese money in Jonesboro, Arkansas?
You're going to go to the strip club and make it hail. You're not going to make it rain. It's going to hail.
What's the exchange rate in Jonesboro, Arkansas? Is it different than like the coastal cities?
I got nothing. I don't even. And it's funny. We make jokes, but it's not funny. I mean, it's really not. It's pretty serious. He should. I hate that he got jacked, especially.
Yeah.
But why do you have $8,000 on you again?
Well, it's not even usable money. That's the weird part. Unless it was left over from Japan.
Maybe he was trying to use it for he was going to Connie houses and sushi places, and he was.
Well, maybe he was just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, he's just like handing
it out. He had it stuck in his bag and forgot he had it. That was his last.
It's his traveling bag. It's his last traveling bag, and he just doesn't. He hasn't had a chance to unpack it yet. So exactly. So he's just got it carrying it around.
Been a busy year for him.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, if this would have happened 20 years ago, that would have been a giant bag of cocaine and like a change of clothes. Maybe a change of clothes.
It'd been cocaine and pain pills and probably a 6-pack of beer and or a 12-pack depending on who it was. But we kind of joked about that, and we actually thought the funny part was we're like, well, that's a good sign, I guess. I mean, instead of a bunch of beer, we're going to see a career out of these guys where they come back later. Either they can wrestle longer, or when they retire, they're not going to die in a McDonald's bathroom stall of an overdose. They'll die like regular deaths, and they'll be able to come back and work on television or work interviews. It should be, it's positive to see the business changing. Oh, absolutely.
It's positive to see it.
I mean, somebody made a joke one day about I heard it on another podcast. I'm not even going to say who it was, but one of the veterans was like, back in the day, we used to go to the bars and stuff afterwards, and these guys are going back to the rooms and playing, video games.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, is that a bad thing? I mean, it's and the guy even joked, and he said, and that's probably a good thing, especially for their health in the long term. Yeah. I mean, do they go out and party from time to time? Sure. But on the average, I mean, they're going back and, they're busting out their 360s or their whatever, Xbox Ones and PS4s.
You're not spending all your money.
Yeah.
You're not cheating on your wife. You're not abusing a substance. I mean, you can have a couple beers in the room, but it's a better quality of life.
Yeah. And we're like, man, it's a good place, I guess, for the business as a whole to be that's, like you said, it's not cocaine and drugs and pills and et cetera. It was video games, and it's something that can be,
and I mean, the wrestlers they're working wonderful. I mean, they're doing stuff they couldn't have done 20 years ago. So maybe that's why the wrestling, style wise and technically, has gotten better. Drama wise, no, but then, I can imagine cocaine can cause a lot of drama.
Or the creative mind is opened up by a lot of, so we'll go with that and say, but still, it's, we'd rather them be healthier, longer, and
you get a better product out of it.
Long term, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's not a bad idea.
But to wrap it up though, we hope that, the tool that robbed him hopefully he gets caught.
Yes. Yeah. I hope they catch him. And I mean, I think AJ, with the amount of money he makes, is a lot less worried about the money than it is his Xbox and his games. Yeah, he's probably got save files,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm about to say. He's going to have the files, and and on top of that, his gamer tags probably saved in there, and all that, which would suck because then you got to get a new one or have that one disabled.
Got other people playing. I mean, if they've logged on and tried to play under his gaming tag, they should be able to locate them.
Well, I think his iPhone was in there too, so they could find my iPhone and track it down or whatever. But
I hope we hear some good news out of him because we really like AJ here.
And on top of that, what kind of fan are you if you're jacking, AJ's bag on the back?
Yeah. So, you just try to get an autograph. Don't try to steal his stuff, man. That's a total tool move.
Yeah. I agree. So.
Yeah. And he's on Smackdown, and Smackdown, their ratings are going through the roof right now with that massive cage match they had that they built up, and they put that out there, and they delivered with a cage match. What'd you say? They got a 2.65 in the ratings this week?
Yeah, and you know what was awesome? There's a couple points that I will throw about there. One, like you said, they advertised it in advance, so it caused a little bit of a bump. For the second of all, we discussed it on the weekly flagship show, how we both really enjoyed the match. And then 3, back in the day, La Luchadora on SmackDown would have been an angle that just kind of got him hot around and would have been a flop. But they delivered. I mean, it was a big reveal who it was. Now, we all joked about, hey, we knew it was going to be her, but it didn't matter. It was still done really well. And I don't think I have to go back on my crazy chick angle again about Mickie James. I had to go upstairs immediately and tell my wife, hey, when you listen to the podcast, I just want you to know this is coming before you hear it.
Yeah, we're working here. This isn't like real life. This is
she knew.
Two guys.
No, she knew. She's heard Mickie James's name before. She wasn't surprised. She was not shocked.
This whole thing's a work, man. The whole thing's a work.
It's a work shoot in that case. Let's go with that because, and it was. I mean, just little nuances when you saw her in there. I'm like, first of all, Mickey's curves make that luchador outfit look a little bit different than the other girls who had been wearing it those other times.
And the look on her face was amazing. Yeah. That's one thing they don't put. I mean, really, wrestling would be better if they put a lot more focus on that. Focus on that look on the face, the shot, the way Charlotte does it. She's great at it. It's if they could work that, that's the emotion that connects with people. I know it makes me, me notice it every time they go with something like that.
Well, she's got the skills and the talent that she's back from the day when they kind of, I don't want to say they improv, but they would give them bullet points and go out there and make it happen. And, and I heard again on another show that made me laugh. I had totally forgot about it. Do you remember the WrestleMania spot that she did, that she improv, that you have to YouTube it because it's one of the few things that it does not exist on the WWE network. It's actually been deleted. It has been deleted from the match with her and Trish, and I'm totally blanking on the WrestleMania. It was 20, maybe something, I don't know. Where she wrestled Trish. You can YouTube it. Not now because you completely will lose focus and you'll be useless the rest of the show. But I'll give you the basic gist without saying it. She has Trish down. She takes her hand and puts it somewhere very precarious on Trish.
Yes.
Basically moves it in a wiping motion, essentially.
And
then picks her hand up. And luckily we're on Skype, so I'm going to show you. I'm not going to let people hear what I'm doing. And she makes a motion with her hand that we would have done back in high school as
like John Cena. She did the "You Can't See Me."
Something like that. We can say that's what we'll say it is, but you actually saw what she did, and if you YouTube it, you will. It's funny. I get why it's no longer on the WWE network. I remember reading after this. I believe it was Meltzer that wrote the article that she got blasted for that move.
Oh, I can imagine, but I bet the crowd went wild.
You damn right they did. But it's just hilarious that it's just not there anymore. When you watch the match on the network, it's just not there. It's completely edited out.
They've sanitized a lot of stuff,
But, this is the funny part. I mean, this is the funniest thing of the whole thing. Watching it now, I remember somebody mentioned it on another show. So I go to YouTube and I looked at it. And I've been that desensitized that when I saw it, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I forgot all about that. That is really what happened. Because, I mean, it's such, because like I said, we're in a PG era with a / PG-13 moments from time to time. But that was straight R. I mean, that was like, dude, there's no getting away around that. That was bad. And then maybe subconsciously that's why, maybe that's why Mickey's always been one of my favorites. I couldn't, maybe it was a blocked memory, but I just couldn't, it was subconsciously, it's like, that's why you like her so much. The whole, obsessed single white female stalker chick, angle. I'm like, again, once I say, crazy chicks are awesome.
I can see why he can pull it off, man. Or she could pull it off.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I completely digress because that thought started going through my head, which is why I told you not to YouTube it. Don't look it up because you'll be worse off than I am right now. But yeah, no, it was really nice for SmackDown to give us something worth the wait of weeks of teasing it. It turned out to be, and then remember me and you talking about it on Wednesday where we're like, man, I thought it was going to be like a 3-way, match, maybe a feud with Mickie, Alexa, and, with, Becky. But clearly it looks like Becky, or Alexa and Mickie are going to be some kind of a team. But does do we get crazy Mickie like is obsessed with Alexa Bliss?
That could be something. That could be a great storyline, man.
Something like that, like she's...
Yeah. There's so much they could do. And, it's now we say, oh, yeah, they could have used her better on Raw. But, man, I'd like to see her that because she's wrestling on the best program.
Right. She's on the better wrestling show.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've got so much more they can do with her. I think that's awesome.
And her match with Asuka proves that she can still go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She can still go. And she's got a lot left in her, and it's going to look like it's going to be a brilliant future for her. So that's great.
Yeah, and there was no need to keep her down in NXT. I think the Asuka match was to see if she still had it, and she clearly proved she did.
Well, Asuka is undoubtedly the best they've got in women. Now, she can't talk and she can't cut a promo, but she is brutal. I mean, Nia Jax dropped some stuff on her that would have killed any of the men wrestlers. Some of the moves she dropped on her. I mean, it was brutal. And she took all that and then just came back and just beat the hell out of her. It was amazing match. She's the best they've got. And so for her to be able to even work with Asuka, she lost, but just to be able to work with her is amazing. Because if she had been rusty, she'd have got killed. That woman is a machine. So I'm glad she's back. I'm glad she's on the right program. That's going to work out good for everybody concerned because the writing is so much better than Raw. She could have been lost in a just a swamp on Raw, and nobody would ever noticed her. That's good news. Good news.
So we're glad she's back.
Yes. And one of our new topics is all that's going on in England. Currently the hottest wrestling scene is the English independent wrestling scene, but the WWE has got involved in it now, and that means you've got a contract with Vince McMahon. And, that's not always the best deal.
Anything I can tell you from the last few days, contracts are a tricky thing. That they are. They are a tricky thing. And I will say that before we get started completely, because I always like to do this as we're going along, I always like to throw a shout out. Friend of the show over in the UK, it's the Buzzards podcast. If you've seen on Twitter, we've linked, we've kind of...
No, it's a phenomenal show, man.
Yeah, and we've done it on Facebook, Twitter, both. We've kind of given a shout out, say, check it out. Check his podcast out. It's pretty cool. He's got some interviews with some, from names, obviously. The big one was because it only came to my mind because we were talking about the UK tour, tournament. Mm-hmm. The night of the first round of the tournament, he had Trent Seven and Pete Dunne as an interview on the show.
Yeah, the two most interesting people in the tournament.
Yeah, so again, the joke is follow the Buzzards on Twitter, but it's just the Buzzards podcast. Check them out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think you'll like them, and we love the podcast because we joke about it. We dig the accent. It breaks up the different, the difference with the all the American podcasts that we listen to. It's a good change of pace to hear the English accent. So check him out, guys.
And the thing is, so the guys have been forced to sign a contract saying they will not appear on, apparently this is the word, IPPV, Internet Pay-Per-Views, which is the hot new thing, you're on a pay-per-view that's only broadcast over the Internet. You can't appear on that because, that's a massive amount of audience. You can appear anywhere in the world on an Internet pay-per-view. Doesn't matter, if you've got the network or you've got little things like that. This is a big deal. So they're going to cut their amount of appearances down.
So you were saying basically if you're going to be on anything Vince or the WWE for that matter, but they got to okay it and they're going to okay the placement, etc. I mean, let's be blunt. They're going after Flow Slam.
Yeah, which they are invested in. So
we've had that story before. We think they were just guinea pigging Flow Slam. Yeah.
They're going to take it. They're going to make some solid. They're going to figure it out. Get the research and turn around and turn it into a massive.
Well, they'll use it on their network. Mm-hmm. I mean, we already heard the rumor that ICW is coming to the network.
Yeah.
So
they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. And it's solid. And this is really smart business for them.
And unfortunately, like I said, we talked about it. I think we talked about this briefly. But unfortunately for Flow Slam, if you were given an option, it was like, if you're Progress Wrestling or Rev Pro or ICW or whoever, if you're told we can either put you on the WWE Network or you can try your luck with FloSlam.
Yeah.
Most of them, I would guess, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, just I'm saying most of them would probably say, I'll take my chances on the WWE Network.
Yeah, and it's really, I've lost all interest in FloSlam now, basically because I see the writing on the wall. They're coming for you. They're going to take over. I
wouldn't pay for a year's worth anymore. I've actually, we were talking about doing because remember when the whole concept came out, I was like, I'm just going to pay for a year. It'll save me the money.
Yeah, we'll get all kind of stuff.
Now I'm kind of going like, well, maybe now I might do a month to month because maybe month to month it'll be worth my. But my big thing is if WWE starts saying, they're going to get Progress or they're going to get ICW or whatever, and then they come to the States and go like, well, hell, let's take Evolve. We had a working partnership with them.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter what promotion they get, because it'll kill all the other promotions. Because all the wrestlers are going to want to come onto the promotion that's all over the internet. That's everywhere. And, it's the WWE. They're the biggest promotion in the world. So if they say they get ICW, it's going to be the downfall of any other promotion over there.
I think Progress will still, because they're the big one. I think that's, they're, and we could ask our buddy across the pond, but, I think that eventually if they'll go after Progress as well, to try to build that market. Cause one of the cool concepts we were talking about was maybe their UK champion travels to the promotions that agree to come out, and they can they can work with them as far as the talent goes and just make them like developmental territories basically of. Yeah.
I don't want to see it turn out like Cody Rhodes that has 4 or 5 different title belts and he takes them over and he defends them in all these different places. I don't know that much about that. The Hardys won another tag belt the other day in Mexico. So they've got 2 promotions tag belts right now. And the Young Bucks are always carrying more than one belt.
Yeah, they're always they're a Japan champion or a Ring of Honor champion or PW. They're always you're right. They always have at least 2 belts.
I'm losing any differentiation between New Japan and Ring of Honor right now. Because they're becoming one program. They're doing the same things, so kind of hard to tell who owns what and who's champion of this. Because they got the same stars.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's throw out a little plug here to our buddy. Did you see our buddy won a championship? Terry?
Oh yeah, Terry. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
Terry the Rocker Lawler. He was up in North Carolina, right? He did his little Mayberry tour this past weekend. And he won the Allied Independent Wrestling Federation's Georgia Heritage Champion. And you thought you had the Alabama Heritage Champion with a long name. And we joked about it, man. I wasn't kidding about it. I put it on Facebook and I put it on Twitter. He's taking bookings to defend that title. He's a fighting champion. I mean, he's a veteran man of 20 years in the business. I mean, it's over that, but I'm just giving, the 20 years as a number. Just because.
That's great to see, man. That's great to see. I would like to, this was the weekend we were supposed to get that promotion here in Buford. I'm heartbroken they couldn't do it, but the man was able to take it and win a tournament somewhere else. So that's just great for him. I can't wait to have him on the show.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
We're working in him. I actually chatted with him on Facebook, and he's still interested. Man, I am old. I just looked at his debut match was September 9th, 1989.
Wow.
In Griffin, Georgia. I'm like, dude.
I was 17. So you were a couple of years younger than that. Yeah,
I would have been 15 still. Yeah. That's crazy.
He's been at it a while.
Yeah, but he's been around, man. He was trained, his brother, Steve Lawler trained him, but Bill Eadie also trained him as well. So, he's been around for a minute. He's got some titles to his name, but we're happy for him, man. I know he's kind of doing his farewell tour kind of pretty much as he's going around now. But I think a lot of your locker room, if you're a independent promoter and you're down in, you're in Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, North Florida, that area, You'd be nuts not to have him in your locker room right now.
I saw he was wearing a 605 podcast shirt.
The 605 crew?
Yeah. I didn't know he was part of that. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But man, just like I said, if you're interested, look up for him on Facebook, Terry the Rocker Lawler. Book him up. You'll be, like I said, your locker room will be a better locker room for that weekend. Just having him in there for your show.
Yeah,
he'll teach those guys a lot. If unlike most, we always joke about today, tell the kids and the rookies in there that are green, be quiet and listen. He'll teach them something, I promise you. So again, but the big thing is we want to tell them, hey, congrats on winning the title.
Yeah.
And, we've been planning on it. We're hoping to catch him this weekend, but, we'll catch him at a show here pretty soon. And, obviously we've discussed it before. He'll be on the show. Don't worry about it. We're going to have him. So
yeah,
I don't even know how we got there because we were talking, Young Bucks winning titles. So I would rather talk, and Terry, if that's a plus for you, Nick would rather talk about Terry the Rocker Lawler any day of the week than the Young Bucks. And for that, I'm going to get a text/message from, Eric at some point, I'm sure.
Eric's a big fan of those guys, and honestly, I don't understand it. I'm looking forward to seeing their match to the Hardys. I know they've faced the Hardys before, but it's not for them. It's for the Hardys.
The irony is, and I will go back and defend my stance to some degree. It's not that I dislike the Bucks because I actually have watched their matches, and I do like some of their matches. Mm-hmm. The running joke with our group of friends is what? Overrated doesn't mean you're not good.
Yes. Yes, that's a very good point.
And that when I say that, if somebody says, "Oh, what do you think of the Young Bucks?" I'm like, "Oh, they're overrated." Yeah. I'm not saying they're not good. I just think people put them probably a peg higher, too higher than what they are, and that doesn't. Mm-hmm. That's the worst thing in the world. You're also talking to the man who jokingly today we're sitting at the dining room table, and the little one's asking me about music groups, which I'm horrible at, by the way. It's just if I don't know the band's name, it's not so shocking and surprising. If I wasn't listening to you, I don't know who you are. But she asked me, and everybody, it was like, oh my God, it was sacrilege. She says Pink Floyd. Do you know Pink Floyd? I said, absolutely. It's probably one of the most overrated bands of all time. And she was like, what? Everybody talks about how great they are. And I'm like, yeah, well, again, hence why I call them overrated. Sad part is they're one of the bands that I don't think they're overrated and they're not good. I just don't think they're not. I think they're not good because I don't like them. But whatever. So that's my argument with them. Yeah, that's the
I love them. I love them. I don't like the fact it reminds me of my ex-wife. Not in a positive way. It's just she's the one that got me listening to them.
The only thing more unpopular on that side, where you just brought up, she that must be obeyed, is throw out Journey.
Oh God, she hates Journey. She hates Led Zeppelin too, and I love Led Zeppelin.
Zeppelin I like, but I will still make the argument they're overrated.
Yeah, she came home last night late. She had to go to a thing for the boy at his military stuff. And I'm sitting here. I'm down in the basement. I've been hooking up stereo stuff like tonight when it took 45 minutes for me to get my podcast gear set back up right where it didn't make noise.
Which is, let's go ahead and parse you to blame. Now I'm going to throw Myron under the bus. That's why we're late recording the thing.
Yeah, because I redid my whole studio, and, some of that nest of wires that I had was working very well.
Yeah.
And now that I untangled everything, nothing works for shit.
So that'll happen. Sometimes it's just best to leave it alone, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't have touched it. But I couldn't get back on. I had the whole house going to the Grateful Dead when she came in last night. She won't listen to them. Can't stand them. And Rush is another band I like that too. I like the old stuff still.
I know.
Hey, I'm somewhere in that old stuff broadcast bracket, I guess.
Yeah, you're almost in the oldies group. Is that what you're saying now?
Yeah, I'm almost in the oldies group. I would qualify for antique, but I'm not in the oldies group yet. But the Young Bucks, they're small. And I don't get as excited about smaller wrestlers. I tend to go on the Jim Cornette school, as you need to see a big looking guy who you can think can hurt you. The kind of guy that McMahon would want. He wouldn't be big on, he's not big on Samoa Joe, but I think Samoa Joe is like the most intimidating guy. And I would rather watch Samoa Joe work than one of these little bitty tiny skinny guys.
Now, I'll throw a tidbit for you for Samoa Joe, and then we're not going to go off on it for a while, but I just happened to think that reminded me of an article that I read this week that Shawn Michaels said that would be like a dream match for him.
Yeah, and that's a lot for Shawn to say that because he's wrestled everybody.
Yeah, that he would have loved to have gone with Joe, and I think, man, that would have been a good match.
Yeah, Joe's as impressive to watch when he hops up and does an enziguri with a 280-pound frame. It's pretty impressive. And for some reason, to me, when he does it, it's a lot more impressive than when Kevin Owens does it.
Well, it's probably the 280 something, because I sit there and try to envision how much stuff I would pull if I tried to do an insecure. If I tried to go airborne to kick somebody, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to pull something.
I'd pull my groin if I'd kick somebody in the knee.
I did the enziguri and caught him in the back of his thigh, and it pulled something. So that wouldn't surprise me in the least. Jeez. Yeah, so to see him fly, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Joe's a man. I'm hoping to see him at the Rumble.
I think we are. Joe. I think we are.
Because he's not, now that Bobby Roode is signed to take on Nakamura, I think he's pretty much gone. So
I would think
we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I would definitely think so.
And then finally tonight, the big news out of, is it Tennessee or Orlando? Now, where is Anthem out of?
Well, actually, hell, I don't know where I thought Anthem was a Canadian company, to be honest with you, with the Fight Network. I think they're a Canadian company.
They've taken a bold move, and they changed that horrible name. Now they are no longer TNA, the brainchild of the great, most hated person on earth, Vince Russo.
Man, the original TNA was Jeff and Jerry Jarrett. That was their brainchild.
That was Russo.
No, it was total nonstop action wrestling from the brainchild of
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought all along it was Russo that wanted to make a suggestive name out of it. So I was wrong.
No, yeah, it was the Jarretts, man. Believe it or not, I wish I may tweet Bruce Pritchard and ask him, for the love of God, can I please soundbite the Jeff Jarrett song, spend my time, just so I can play it. I'm like, look, I apologize. I got to use it on the show from time to time. And obviously,
did you see that picture that when Jeff Jarrett was singing? It looked like Bruce playing guitar on there.
Yeah,
you got to see that. I was like, damn. It must. I don't know if it was a work or what, but it was hilarious, man.
Totally agree. Still, hands down, man. I still got to argue. We don't do it often, but best podcast on in the world right now is Something to Wrestle.
Yeah. I enjoy that every week. I can't wait, and it's one of the few ones that I try to make a point to watch it like when I can totally concentrate on it because they're that good. It's that informative. So
I don't listen to that one at the house at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting no peace at home, just, seriously, unless no one's home. The other argument, I listen to that one most of the time in the car to and from work because typically traffic's bad one way, either to work or on my way home, that I can most of the time get it in.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
The whole show?
Usually not one way. Usually it's to and from, like a day. I can usually get it in one day, but it's to and from. My commute's about, now, the 3-hour gig, no, it didn't happen. That was like 2 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they're typical 2-hour show, to commute to work for me, man, has gotten to where it's about an hour both ways. So it's like 45 minutes to an hour. So it sucks. So, I guess we'll plug them and say it does make the commute a lot better. Because I always feel like
I was listening to him when I hit that deer carcass. Probably why I hit the deer carcass because I was paying so much.
You were paying so much to limb, yeah. Well, the funny parts are now that as I'm driving to work, I've got people like they're looking at me at the red light because I swear this was a funny story. As I'm at the red light, they were talking about Rick Rude's dong.
Yeah, Rick Rude's hashtag
Rick Rude's dong. And the poor lady next to me does not understand why. I've got my windows up, obviously. I'm laughing out loud, and she's like, literally, I look over and she's looking at me like I've lost my mind. And I wanted to roll the window down and be like, "Oh, this is funny. I'm so sorry," But what's so funny? Rick Rude's dong. Rick Rude's dong. It's hilarious. I think she probably would have not been able to grasp what that meant. So I thought it best just to leave the window up and just drive away and let her think I was an idiot. So we can thank Conrad and we can thank Bruce for this lady at the red light thinking that I'm an idiot. So.
Well, you're only listening to the facts about Rick Rude's dong.
Yeah, that's all it was. I mean, I was just trying to.
I can't stop giggling. It's still If I read that on Facebook, I still break out laughing still.
Yeah, so plug them. I mean, at this point, it seems like the entire world is listening to them, so us plugging it probably does nothing. But if you're the one person on our show or listening to our show that does not listen to Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, then check it out. And it's a classic. So
yeah, it's kind of like PetSmart. Is it PetSmart or PetSmart? Is it Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard? Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard?
That's what it is. I actually heard them say it on the show, and it is Something to Wrestle.
No, I thought they got it off. I thought they got that off a notepad off Paul Bosch's desk. That he had a notepad that said "Something to Wrestle with" as the header.
Oh, I don't know.
On the stationery.
I thought it was just today, or somebody said it's Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. And
Conrad's got
I'm so distracted. I have no idea what we're even talking about at this point.
We were talking about TNA changing its name.
Okay, so let's go back because I looked at the clock and I'm like, dude, how in the world are you not exhausted after waking up so early and going to work today and then doing this? But that's the point. Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson took me completely off the concept. I had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah.
We're sitting here talking about how TNA, thank God they lost that negative connotation word, right? And we just completely transition into hashtag Rick Rudenong. So clearly we're not learning from their lesson. But anyway, so back to the original point. I think what's nice about it, I was never offended. I never read too much into it. But I think there was probably some of the general public that did.
Well, it's harder to get yourself on a legitimate network when that's your name, you know?
Well, I also think that, unlike, which is kind of weird to think, the mother doesn't mind the kid watching WWE, but if she says, what are you watching? TNA? And she, absolutely not. And so that becomes your question is how many, and I'm not knocking, this is a legit question. I would love to know if you look at a TNA crowd, at most of your pay-per-views or whatever they were doing still, like how many kids are really in there? How much is TNA a kid-driven business? Whereas we know that for a fact. That's WWE's got a ton of kids, that buy the merch and stuff. So to say like maybe the TNA name just going away can help in that. Just can help in that.
You can't ever like do enough to not hurt your brand. So. We'll see. I think it's going to be the best thing they've done so far. Besides moving Dixie Carter off the main program.
The second part of it is, let's be blunt. It just hopefully it's a clear-cut sign. They're going to just rebrand. They're going to try to put the past behind them and basically go in a different direction. And the only way you're ever going to really start that change is if you completely get away from the TNA name and just say like it's not. Now we're just Impact Wrestling. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Although I saw a tweet and I got to ask you because I meant to ask you this that night I read it, and I never really thought about it. This might be the first. Somebody's going to tweet us or somebody's going to email us and tell us that I'm wrong. I'm just asking the question: is this the first company that really? Well, no, I guess Lucha Underground doesn't either. I was trying to think of the concept. Isn't it weird to have a champion like without like an abbreviation in the title? Like WWE, WCW, NWA, UWF, the promote like Ring of Honor, even if they're the ROH champion, the whatever.
Well, they don't have three names. Everybody has three names.
It's just going to be, you're going to be
IW?
You're going to be the Impact Wrestling champion.
I wish they could still use the NWA name,
The problem is the NWA name has been so bastardized that it doesn't mean anything to anybody anymore.
Yeah.
There's a generation. That's when they started out. It was the NWA champion. Yeah. They used the NWA champion. And the problem is now that, like I said, there's a generation of kids that if you say like he was the NWA world champion, somebody our age goes, man, that's all, that meant something.
Yeah.
Kids today, if you said that, they were like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, you got a good point.
I mean, and that's a crying shame. But there's also going to be, within a few years, you're going to have a generation of kids that go, WCW champion? What the hell's that?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, good point.
I mean,
they stomped it out, unless it's, you see it on the network, but the WWE stomped it out and blended it into everything else.
Well, that's your hope. Is the only thing you can hope is that WWE network sharing, playing the WWE, the WCW, the ECW, is that stuff like that doesn't fade off. That even the younger generation can watch that stuff and kind of appreciate it, maybe. But we'll see.
It's it'd be a shame, but it really is at the whim of Vince McMahon. If he wants to take it off the network, never let it be seen again, and not talk about it, he owns it all. He can do that.
Yeah, so. But I think, so I don't know if I'm done here or not with TNA. Because I think the positives far outweigh any negatives of the TNA name going away. Because I don't think Anthem had an option but to get rid of it, to move
No,
on.
they had to get rid of it, and it's not really, there's not enough positive associated with it to make it not worth getting rid of,
Right, because if you wanted to say the nostalgia of it's fine, well, you're trying to get rid of the nostalgia, the memory and the stink you want gone. Yeah. So to say we're going to keep it for the nostalgia of it, that's probably a bad idea. Let's get rid of it. Mm-hmm. So totally makes sense, and I totally agree. But your comment about it's all at the whim of Vince. What we're hoping is that this UK tournament and the concepts of some people think it's bad, some people think it's good. But the flip side is we were talking about the UK tournament. Maybe this is the beginning of Triple H's reign or his vision of the WWE, and maybe that it's not the death of all these smaller territories. And because Triple H, if anything, everybody always says that he's a historian. Yeah, and that maybe he will appreciate it enough to maybe bring a lot of the stuff back to the forefront. And my only plug on the UK thing that I completely left off, I'm going to throw it here at the end, was I did tweet out, our friend, again, the Buzzards podcast, he put a tweet up or a Facebook post, both, and I probably responded to both. But it was something to the effect of, is this the beginning of the end of the UK scene? And me making the comment of saying, well, we knew this was probably potentially something that could happen, but is it it's hopefully maybe they're just being compensated better than they've ever been paid before, and more people are getting to see them than have ever seen them before. So maybe that's the trade-off.
Well, yeah, it's in their hands, and they are the biggest promotion there is.
And maybe these guys are going to get to work less, compensated more, and seen by more people. And in the long run, maybe that's the benefit for them. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Time will tell. But yeah. But hopefully, like I said, talking about TNA, maybe I think as a whole, we only can hope that the more, promotions, territories, whatever you want to call them, there are, the better for wrestling business and the wrestling fans in general. The more stuff we get an option to watch, it can't be a bad thing.
And we're getting most of our wrestling in one place. We're watching it on the network or on USA. We've got plenty of stuff to watch. It's all produced to a certain quality standard. It looks good. It sounds good. It's hard not to like the stuff they're doing,
Absolutely.
So, they've got enough out there. It looks good. You can depend on it. You're going to get a certain standard. So I'm okay with that as long as we get quality still. If the quality the wrestling isn't always the best, but the quality of the program's great. And when you acquire more stuff, it just keeps getting better. So. Well, Nick, that runs about everything we've got on our list. You got anything else? Anything we missed?
No. We got some big things, and we keep saying this weekend, but man, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Yeah. Lots and lots of details that I would love to tell. Can't say a single thing right now. But when this stuff rolls out, I'll give people a hint. Just go to our Twitter and our Facebook and look at the picture at the top, and that kind of, it's a hint. And you can figure that out from there, what's going on. But we can't give out any details beyond that right now. And when I mean it's a lot of things in the work, dude, you've been helping me on some of it as well. It's a lot going on. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's you are tireless working on this, and I really do admire your devotion to your vision.
It's a big plan. It is in the works, and we've got some let's go. I'll tease it to this point. There's some really, really good people getting involved. I'm super excited. I don't think I ever, thought when we started this, and my first visions of this were over, I know we started in August, but I mean, it started probably 9 months before that. I never thought some of the thoughts that have gone through my head.
Well, you had been talking about it for me for forever, and I'm like, oh, well, sure, if you're going to do it, we're going to do it. And the day you sent me, I bought the stuff, you in? I'm like, sure, why not? Can't hurt me to try something new. And I mean, you've been behind this 100% from the start, man. It's been a labor of love for you.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
I couldn't be happier to be involved with it.
Well, I'm happy you've been here since day one.
Yeah.
Obviously,
thank you, sir.
Obviously Eric's been here, for a while now.
Nice guy. I really do like that guy.
He's a good apple. That's what we'll go with. He's a good dude. So obviously with some changes that are coming, bigger changes are coming, and I'm really excited about it. But like I said, as my wife put it, there's been a lot of long nights and a lot of work the last, couple of weeks doing some things. I always tell people, if anything I'm doing involves an attorney and an accountant, the CPA, that's a lot. So anyway, the long story short, we're hoping to make the big announcements here pretty soon. But other than that, man, I got nothing other than I'm just doing my best just to hang on and, keep covering as much wrestling as I can. But I have zero free time lately because it's all been either I've been working one job or it feels like I'm working the other.
Well, yeah, but you've been hustling, man. Hustle, loyalty, respect.
Well, that's what my wife would say. And so anyway, other than that, man, just the usual before we get out of here, we throw out some numbers and emails and stuff. And dude, we were so crazy behind. I don't even have it in front of me. So you're going to find out how good I can try to be because I'm going to try to wing this with absolutely nothing in front of me. So here we go, man. So hey, guys, if you got any questions, comments, feedback, whatever, there's many, many ways to get a hold of us, but the first one is always my favorite because we get to hear the voice. Call us. Area code 470-238-3345. Again, that is area code 470-238-3345. That is our voicemail hotline. You can leave those questions, comments. We can get to them on the show. I know we have been behind on this a little bit, and we actually discussed it the other day. We probably are due to do a mailbag episode because now we are so far behind. We've just been covering so much stuff.
Well,
and the shows, we get a little long-winded at times, and the show runs on, and I'm like, I don't think we have another 45 minutes to go over other stuff. So I wish we do, but we don't. But of course, Twitter, man, that seems to be where the most of the action comes from. And I completely skipped over it, told you I didn't have notes in front of me before I go there. Email, that is typically how we like to get it. That's where how most of them come. It's tappedoutvwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. That is tappedoutvwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. People always can get a hold of us there. Twitter, you can message us, with the DMs. You could tweet us, whatever. Man, I try to be as interactive as possible. I like, retweet, reply as much as I can.
Yeah.
I really do. But I do have
Twitter is amusing. Yeah, Twitter is a lot of fun, but I understand the other job part too.
Yeah, it gets in the way sometimes. So sometimes if you don't get a response super quick, the odds are somebody's probably getting a pair of glasses. Let's just go with that and leave it at there. So I'll be back soon. That's what I was telling. I'll reply as soon as I get it. So of course you got Twitter, then of course you got Facebook. Facebook simple, Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Find us there. It's pretty cut and dry. Then of course, as far as listening to us, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Dude, I could go on and on because now we've added Spreaker, a bunch of these different things.
Yeah, YouTube is really easy to see us on. It's not my favorite. I'd rather use iTunes, but some people who don't have accounts or don't, use iPhones, I've seen them just use YouTube to listen because it's easy. But I'm like you, man. I'm always a big app guy, and I get it. Yeah.
So I always tell people, man, if they're like, well, what if if you have an iPhone, the podcast app is on there. Yeah. You can find us. Matter of fact, I jokingly tell people, if you can't find us, tweet me and I'll reply and try to help you find out how to get it. And then they're like, well, I don't do iPhone, man. I'm an Android guy. Well, there's a thing called Google Play that we're there too, so you can find us there. Now I don't have any Android devices, so I have not much help on finding it, but from what I'm told, if you go to the Google Play Store, you can just search us at Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast, you'll find us. But to make your life super simple, if you really want it, just go to our website, man. It's just at tappedOutWrestlingPodcast.com. tappedOutWrestlingPodcast.com, because all of those links are right down the left
Everything. I listened to a podcast on iTunes on my computer for the first time last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was down here working in the office. I listened to it on the computer. I was, plugging my phone into my stereo and doing it that way, but it just listen to it on YouTube over the computer audio.
Well, one of the ways
YouTube,
iTunes.
Sorry, iTunes.
Yeah, but one of the things you can do from our website, the media player's on there. You can actually click play and just listen to it straight from there, or you can download it from the media player right from the website. You just download it, put it on your computer, and then you can play it with your player, and you can control some people like to control the volume better, and et cetera, with their media player. So I'm like, okay, download it, and boom, listen to it through yours.
My favorite way is in the car, though.
Yeah, the definitely. iTunes in the car is hands down the best.
Yeah, my car, I don't have an expensive stereo in the car. It's just the stock Hyundai stereo, but it sounds great. It's easy to work with. Yeah, sometimes I sit in the car after I get home from work. I bought actually, you're going to love this segue because, dude, that was actually pretty good in head. I bought on Amazon it's called an MPOW Bluetooth that plugs into the aux jack of your car. And I Bluetooth from my phone now. So if you don't even have a Bluetooth, stereo in your car, you can get this it's an MPOW Bluetooth thing. And the thing's worked like a champ since I bought the thing. And it just, like I said, you sync it up Bluetooth from your phone. And that's how I listen to, because I listen to my car stereo just driving to work. I used to do the aux cords, but they get pinched and bent and they stop working and you get static and, it's a nightmare. So I just was like, let me try this out. So where do you think I tried it? I said, well, let me look at this thing, and I found it. And where did I find it, man? I found it on Amazon. Amazon. I bought a lot of MPOW stuff off Amazon myself.
Yeah. So if you're buying stuff on Amazon, we are now an Amazon affiliate. So what we ask you to do is, there's a link on our website. We've posted the link on our Twitter, on our Facebook. You can find it in multiple places. But if you just can't figure it out quick, boom, click on the link. There's a banner on our page. Click it. It'll take you there. And the reason why we ask it is pretty simple.
Yep.
You buy all your stuff on there. Doesn't cost you anything extra. But it'll kick a little commission, a little coin, whatever you want to say, in our pocket to help, keep the show going. It'll help support the show, and we would appreciate it. So even if you're just buying, somebody was like, well, what if I just all I buy is my dog food from Amazon? Well, okay, we will take that too.
I just bought a bag of dog food off Amazon. It came this morning because if you got Prime, they deliver on Sundays too.
Yep.
Bag of dog food set on my front door. I saved 50 cents a pound by ordering it from Amazon.
Right. And with the Amazon Prime, you said it was just free shipping.
Just showed up.
So if you don't have it, I'll make this even better. If you don't have Amazon Prime, click on our link, go through it, buy the Amazon Prime.
Buy Amazon Prime that way.
Yeah, exactly. Because then same thing. They'll kick a little coin our way, man. We'd appreciate it. Audible books, Amazon, Amazon Music, all that stuff, man. Go through our link. All we ask you to do is just take the bookmark you have for Amazon, replace it with ours. It's still just an Amazon link, nothing extra, man. It's pretty simple. Last but not least, again, he's not a paid sponsor of our show, but we continue to pitch his stuff because, man, I'm really close. It's probably going to be my next big investment. I feel like the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network needs a belt. It just got to have one. And if we get one, we would only, and I reiterate, only buy it at one place, and that would be.
We wouldn't buy one of those belts that they sell at the live events.
No, we would not go to, and we would truly go only to Leather by Dan and buy our belt from him.
Yeah. One of those vinyl and plastic belts they sell for $400.
Yeah.
Now, I've looked at his website, man. The stuff is top notch. You feel like a champion just wearing some of that, I bet. It doesn't even matter if you won a championship. Just wearing that belt is going to make you feel like a championship.
So Leather by Dan, he's on Twitter, leather_by_Dan. But again, he's on man, if you just go to our website, just click on his banner, it'll take you straight to his page. Boom, you get what you want. And you're not going to find a better deal. You're not going to, and it doesn't take forever. I think they said the average turnaround is around 12 weeks now for a custom made belt.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
He's got templates. He's got belts already made on his website. It's a lot to look at, a lot of shiny stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's got old belts. I mean, he's got replica of old belts that people just love and buy one from him, man. That's as simple as that. So other than that, man, I honestly think that I have run the gambit. That's everything that I got, man.
Mm-hmm. So, pretty much for me too.
All right, man. If that's all we got, man, what does that mean this time?
It's time to tap out.